Welcome to Business on Top, where women are building empires, becoming breadwinners, and redefining the dynamics of their households without a playbook. I'm Kaeli Lindholm, mom, wife, founder, and leadership advisor to a portfolio of female-owned businesses generating over $100 million in annual revenue. Most business advice was never designed for women leading and building at this level. That's why each week I'll open the vault and share a leadership lesson from real experience, so you can navigate the decisions you're making every day with confidence. If you are a serious female founder and leadership feels messy right now, you're in the right place. We are rewriting the rules for this next era of how women lead and build. This is Business on Top. Let's go. Hello, leader. Welcome back to Business on Top. It's your host, Kaeli here, and you are tuning in to leadership lesson number 9. You are the guarantee. Funny story, my mom recently asked me how I have so much to talk about. And I laughed because I was actually the kid in my private elementary school who was routinely sent to the principal's office for talking too much in class. And I laugh. I'm like, see, Mom, how that served me. Anyway, what she meant was, how do I have enough content to come up with new conversations every week? I said, Mom, I am living this. Every conversation I have with you here on Business on Top is a reflection of experience I've personally had building and scaling my company and experiences I navigate shoulder to shoulder with clients daily. In fact, I've had a lot of people reach out and check on me after hearing some of the stories I've shared during the first month of Business on Top. And I think what's so interesting, while I was living through many of those experiences, most people had no idea. I navigated them quietly behind the scenes while still showing up to lead my team, serve our clients, support my family, and create stability for the people who were counting on me. Because that's often what leadership requires. We carry things privately so others can continue feeling safe and inspired and focused on the bigger picture. We don't hide our struggles because we're trying to be inauthentic. We do it because there are moments when our responsibility is to hold the vision while we are still finding our own footing. But I also think that's part of what leaves so many leaders feeling so alone. We look around and assume everyone else has it figured out because we only see the polished version of their story. Meanwhile, they're carrying challenges that we know nothing about. The reality is that most of us are navigating far more than anyone can see. We just don't talk about it until we're standing on the other side of it. The fact is, the struggles are what build our strength. I think one of the hardest truths about leadership is realizing the storm never fully stops. There's always another problem to solve, another level to hold, another season that stretches your emotional capacity. And that's why founders who build sustainable companies aren't necessarily the ones that endure the easiest of circumstances. They're the ones who learn how to regulate themselves inside of uncertainty. This is precisely why scaling your business past another $1 million milestone is going to require more of your mind than your skills. And this is the monumental shift we help women navigate through our coaching. Your circumstance actually becomes your curriculum. So imagine investing your life savings into a dream of owning your own business. You search high and low for the perfect location, sign a lease, hire a lawyer, an accountant, a marketing consultant, who else? An assistant, slowly begin building something from absolute nothing. You take risks that most people will actually never really understand. You work nights, weekends, holidays. You reinvest profits back into the business instead of taking them home. You hire people before you feel ready, trust people before they've earned it, and pour your time, energy, resources, and expertise into helping them grow. You teach them everything you know. You pay for training, mentorship, conferences, certifications, clinical development, and you celebrate their wins as if they were your own and create opportunities for them that didn't exist before they joined your team. And then one day, after years of investment, they take another team member and leave to open up a competing business down the street. Think this would never happen to you? Well, so did our client, Christy, who humbly shared her story publicly on stage at Alt Experience. It was an acutely devastating experience that became the catalyst to boomerang her into her next level of business leadership. She joined our Pop Leadership Academy because she knew she needed the kind of support that she couldn't get from a textbook. Truly imagine unlocking your office one morning and realizing the person you spent years developing is now your competitor, not just someone you met at a conference, not someone from the street, like someone you actually trained and you championed, someone whose success mattered to you. The financial and operational disruption is obviously significant, but what founders don't prepare for is the emotional aftermath, the betrayal, the questioning, sleepless nights spent questioning yourself, wondering what your blind spots were, what you could have done differently, or whether you should have trusted and given less and protected more. So you're stuck now with hiring PTSD and start to approach business growth differently altogether. You feel shame and embarrassment and also worry about your IP and clientele literally leaving to go down the street. But what I can tell you as someone who's helped hundreds of women navigate adversity such as employee turnover, cash flow pressures, competitive threats, and leadership loneliness, as painful as these moments can be, they often become some of the most formative leadership experiences we ever navigate. It's just never what we plan for, but it's the challenge we are being called to rise to because they force us to become someone different on the other side. Every challenge becomes your leadership training. I had this conversation with a client last week. She talked about feeling frustrated that she made a pretty significant change to her team because now there was a domino of hurdles to overcome. She essentially terminated a status quo employee to hire up. And now this new team member is actually stretching her in new ways, asking more questions, pushing her to show up in a bigger way, moving faster, and really making an impact. And it's kind of rocking her status quo boat. So her brain is like, hold on, what are we doing here? Did I make the wrong decision? And I had to remind her that if she sat in status quo land, she wouldn't be growing. See, our brains want to keep us safe, out of pain, and efficient. So those thoughts are totally natural. But safety and comfort does not equal growth. And that's why I think too many founders spend way too much energy trying to stay comfortable, waiting for certainty or perfect timing or over-consuming information without activation because, just learning information feels a lot safer than really doing the dirty work. Your leadership eventually becomes less about building the business and more about building the person capable of holding the business. Think about that. Because no matter how much we prepare for the unexpected or try to control our environment, there is no such thing as a guarantee. And I sure thought I was certainly going to wake up one day to a sink full of dishes the night my house burned down. I didn't. My kitchen was gone. Nobody can guarantee your next hire will work out, the expansion will succeed, the marketing campaign will perform, the employee will stay, or the economy will cooperate. Nobody can guarantee your family won't experience hardship while you're building. Entrepreneurship is one long exercise in moving forward without guarantees. Have you ever noticed how selective we are about what we label as risky? Like if you invest in the stock market, there's no guarantee you'll make money. If you spend hundreds of thousands of dollars earning a degree from a prestigious university, there's no guarantee you'll land your dream job. If you pursue another certification, there's no guarantee it will increase your income. If you buy a home, there's no guarantee the market will appreciate. Yet people make those investments every single day. Why? Because they aren't buying a guarantee, they're investing in a possibility. And I think that's where many founders get stuck. They're searching for certainty in entrepreneurship when certainty was never available in the first place. The most successful people I know aren't the ones who found a guarantee. They're the ones who learn to trust themselves in the absence of one. Because eventually leadership becomes an exercise in placing a calculated bet on your own ability to figure things out, to adapt, to recover, learn, and to rise, to become. There are people who spend their lives waiting for a guarantee, and there are people who become the guarantee. Instead of waiting for the right time, the perfect opportunity, or the most certainty, they take the risk on themselves. And who ultimately creates success faster? And knowing that nothing in life is 100% guaranteed, what happens if you just sit and wait for that to show up? You stay stuck in the same place that drove you to seek a new reality to begin with. Maybe it's starting your own business, pitching your big idea, asking for the opportunity, or getting out of your overwhelm and exhaustion you're buried in so you can actually be an active part of your children's lives. Ultimately, if nothing changes, nothing changes. But I know you. You're not here to be one of the status quo or to just settle in life. You're here to make an impact. And I know you're here listening or watching this show or following me because you're a high-growth individual who wants to access her highest potential. So the real question isn't, is there a guarantee? The real question is, do you actually trust yourself enough to commit and go all in on a calculated risk that doesn't have a guarantee? Just like the over 600 female entrepreneurs who have bet on themselves with KLC and crossed their next $1 million milestone. That future version of you, the one who has the freedom to travel the world with her kids, the time to think creatively, to play more tennis, to entertain, to explore and seek adventure with the ones she loves, the financial agency to take epic risks, how would she show up? So my question is this: if there was no chance you could fail, would you do it? If the answer is yes, you know what's holding you back, and it's not a guarantee. The women I know who build the most extraordinary businesses and lives aren't the women who found the guarantees. They're the women who decided they could be trusted with uncertainty. They stopped waiting for proof. They became the proof. So maybe the lesson was never about avoiding the storm in the first place. Maybe the difficult employee, the cash flow pressure, the setback, maybe none of it was happening to you. Maybe it was happening for you. Because every challenge you've survived has been preparing you for the next level of leadership you're being called to hold. Your circumstance is your curriculum. And if that's true, then the goal isn't to eliminate every obstacle or predict every outcome or find some magical guarantee that removes all of the risk from the equation. The goal is to become the kind of leader who can recover when things don't go her way. Today, I want you to realize that the guarantee you're searching for will not be found in the market, the economy, the employee, the opportunity, or the shiny new device. It will be found in who you are becoming. And while there are no guarantees in business, there are absolutely things you can do to increase your probability of success. You can sharpen your leadership. You can strengthen your systems. You can identify blind spots before they become expensive. You can build stronger operating mechanisms, accountability, communication, and infrastructure. You can stop spending all your energy trying to react to problems and start creating the kind of business that is prepared for growth before it arrives. Because none of us can control the economy, employee turnover, our competition, or unexpected challenges. We can take ownership of the controllables. And that's what we'll be doing on July 17th and 18th in our Owner and Practice Manager Team Leadership Intensive in Chicago. No one can guarantee your next level, but we can help you become the kind of leader who is prepared to hold it. For 2 days, you'll step out of the day-to-day demands of your business and work alongside your practice manager to pressure test your leadership structure, to strengthen your operational systems, uncover hidden bottlenecks, clarify accountability, and build a business that is truly less dependent on you. Extraordinary businesses aren't built by leaders who avoid uncertainty. They're built by leaders who prepare for it, who develop the awareness to see challenges sooner and make the confident move to be able to make decisions faster and keep moving forward when circumstances change. So if you're ready to stop waiting for certainty and start becoming the leader your next level requires, we'd love to support you. You can learn more about the Chicago Intensive or set up a no-pressure call to chat about other ways we can help you grow through the link in the show notes. Thanks for joining me today. Until next time, keep life first and business on top. If you are listening to this and something in you is stirring, I want you to know this is exactly where the work begins. This is the space between where you've been leading reactively and where you are being asked to lead from a new framework. And the truth is that next level of leadership doesn't come from more information. It comes from putting yourself in rooms and environments that challenge how you think, how you decide, and how you show up inside of your business. That's exactly why we built the Pop Leadership Academy. It's a space for founders who are no longer looking for surface level strategy, but who are ready to evolve how they lead, how they build, and how they scale so the businesses they create can fully support the life they want to live inside of. You can learn more about the Pop Leadership Academy and apply through the link in show notes. And in the meantime, get more inspiration delivered directly to your inbox through my weekly briefing, The Blueprint, at klcleadership.com/blueprint. Until next time, keep leading life first and business on top.